Hello, it's me Dylan again. We're actually starting a new series today, giving advice to fellow indie game devs so that they might learn from our development cycle. We're calling it Gamedev Guide, or GG for short. Clever, right? In this first episode, we're going to discuss the concept of a one true screenshot, or an OTS. But first, I'd like to give credit to Pixel Groover, who's a dev for the indie studio Something Classic, currently working on Quartet. He's also a part of development for My Familiar and Forge of the Fae, which we will talk about in just a second. On top of this, he helped out with UI and menu design for Godchild Chronicles. A one true screenshot is essentially a single screenshot which is a microcosm of your entire game's style, a way to show off everything about your game's art in one concise image. Here are some examples from the aforementioned indie games, My Familiar and Forge of the Fae. You can find links to their pages below. Well, why should you use one? Firstly, it helps set a tone for what the game will look like, which in turn establishes a target audience. It sets a design and standard that every future artist working on the game can reference. In setting this standard, it also kind of sets a benchmark in cost for the game's art assets, helping to budget art correctly. It helps prevent throwaway or wasted development time and assets, something which we particularly struggled with. Later in development, an OTS can effectively become a business card for marketing, social media content, and in many cases for Kickstarter pages. Something which your game can become instantly recognizable by, just a screenshot. Hollow Knight Silksong is doing this really well, just from a few screenshots before we even saw anything else about it. A game that's so hyped and recognizable it's effectively become a meme. To speak on our experience with this, we didn't really have one for Godchild early on, since we started purely from scratch. We tried just giving examples of games that inspired us, but that never led to us developing the art style we really wanted. Seiken Densetsu 3, Chrono Trigger, and even some aspects from Final Fantasy VI were our biggest inspirations, and we don't feel like that was communicated at all with our art style. Obviously, this is our fault for not having one of these one true screenshots. It really can be that important. If you're unfamiliar with these games, you can take a quick look here at what they look like. And now here is our original art. Regardless of how you feel the quality is, we just didn't feel it was true to our inspirations at all, which is a large part of our game's identity. So, we had to effectively entirely scrap it, leaving us with useless assets, wasted time, and wasted money. So how do you make a good OTS? It varies from game to game, genre to genre. Godchild Chronicles is an RPG. RPGs are by nature very expansive games, so we might have 2 or 3 screenshots, perhaps one of the menu, one of the map, and one of the combat, to really show the extent of our game's look. It is worth noting that you shouldn't overcrowd an image like this in an effort to include all your art, as that messy disorganization could come back to bite you later down the line if this busy screenshot is used as a standard. This image has become our de facto OTS as of late, not intentionally mind you, but we use it for a lot of the previously mentioned purposes. It does its job, but we could improve just how well it shows our style by adding some important stuff like a structure or some enemies. That being said, we think that this image, and our new and final art style as a whole, convey a much more tangible influence from games like Seiken Densetsu 3 and Chrono Trigger. To recap, you should establish a one true screenshot early on in development, showcasing a spread of your art in order to communicate your visual style and tone to both artists and consumers. If you yourself are an indie dev, perhaps you could use this video to create your very own OTS for your game and see how it helps you in the long run. Anyway, that's all for this episode. We intend for this series to continue, so if you're interested, stick around and keep an eye out for more episodes like this one.